Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the gaming channel and to Streaming Tuesdays. Who've we got in the chat room? Doctorus Prime is here. Hello, Doctorus. Herrerasaur Studios says tickets, please. Sticking with the theme, I like it. And Ravenhawk joins us as well. Welcome, all of you. It's so lovely to see you all here. Tonight, we're doing trains, because I fancied playing trains. Because why the hell not? Now, there's kind of a story behind this week's episode. And the story is that on Saturday, I heard through work, because I currently work at Network Rail as a timetable assistant, which is a pretty cool job. Loving that. Big thumbs up. Yeah. Lost my train of thought. Failure bell. Yeah, I found out from work that Duchess of Sutherland was coming through Bletchley on Saturday morning quite early on. So I got up early, took myself down there. It wasn't Duchess of Sutherland, it was a diesel. Yeah. So I thought, well, if you want something doing properly, do it yourself. Hence this evening. But before we head off into Train Simulator, I've got to show you a neat bit of kit that I own. This is a rail driver console. Yeah, it's a really old bit of kit that was built for the original Microsoft Train Simulator initially. But basically, it does all the bits a train does. That's your reverser. That's your throttle and brake lever. I'm only going to be using the lower bit this evening because steam locos don't have a combined throttle and brake lever. There's an auto brake there, which for the purposes of this is going to be the train brake, and a loco brake. There's also these, which do lights and stuff. I've never been able to get them working, but never mind. We've also got other things here. We've got that is a bell. British steam engine doesn't have a bell. Pantograph, which for the purposes of steam engines I've set as the drain cocks. AWS alert switch, you press that to acknowledge an AWS alert. So if you go through a yellow signal, you'll get a buzzer. If you don't press that, train brake comes on. Sander, for when you're going up hills and stuff. Emergency stop switch. And gears if you're on a diesel. And the most important one, that's the whistle. So, we've introduced you to the kit. Ekage says, trains don't go up or down, trains don't need to be steered left or right, signals to change tracks are controlled by, well, the signaller, and trains don't even go backwards very often. So controlling this train seems to be straightforward. That was awful. Oh dear. Five Nights at Freddy's Vision joins us, the Tired Scott joins us, and Devran joins us. I'm doing very well, Devran. Thank you for asking. Welcome, everybody. Let's not hang about. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to drop you guys up there, so you're out of my way for a moment. And then we're going to go into the thing, make sure my game volume's working, and then switch over to the desktop capture. There we go. This is 6233 Duchess of Sutherland. Now, I've got the Wikipedia page open here, so I can tell you some facts. Duchess of Sutherland is an LMS Princess Coronation class steam locomotive built by the built at Crewe for the London, Midland and Scottish Railway, or the LMS. Is a 462 Pacific locomotive built as part of the LMS Coronation class for its express passenger services, including the Royal Scots service from London to Glasgow. So it would have worked out of London Euston, which is where we are today. It was withdrawn from service in 1964 and was sold to the Butlins Holiday Camp in Scotland, where it remained until 1996, when it was acquired by the Princess Royal Locomotive Trust, with the intention of restoring it to mainline condition. In 2001, she was restored to operating condition and has since been a regular performer on the national network. which is where we see her today. I've lost my phone cable, bear with. There we go. Gonna leave that plugged in over to the side. Right, so this is Duchess of Sutherland. She's very pretty. Oh, that's a train coming in, don't mind that. Haven't muted my phone, that was a good start. Okay, let's go ahead and mute that. There we go, right. So yeah, this is the Duchess. Ignore that new train, we don't care about that. Duchess of Sutherland, very pretty. Very, very pretty. We've got a support coach and a load of West Coast Rail stuff, and if we go for a little jog along the platform here, none of this bit actually exists anymore, by the way. 17 and 18 have been demolished at Wieldstone while they're building HS2. So, yeah, that's not accurate. So if we come all the way back here, this is unfortunately a requirement for heritage charter trains these days. There's a class 47 on the back, which is kind of pretty, I guess. But yeah. Incidentally, I used to work in a little room down under that ramp there. But I don't anymore, so we won't say any more about that. Let's go running. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hyperspeed running there. Let's go running up and, oi, you, off. I'm driving this one. Right then. Here we go. So a couple of things we want to do before we set off. We want to turn all of the lights on, because when we go through tunnels and things, we'll be able to see what we're doing. I've got automatic fireman switched on, so we don't have to worry about that. So, yes. Let's... Okay, so we've got the signal, and we're going up via line C. And now I've just got to wait for the guard. Any minute now. Any moment. Any moment now. Any moment. Ah, there we go. Right then. Okay, so let's I'm going to turn on the HUD at the bottom just for simplicity's sake. And then we're going to put the reverser forward, release the brakes, confirm that what's gone on there with the whistle, release the loco brake as well, and we'll open the drain cocks as well, and away we go. Lovely stuff. I'm having fun. I'm just going to turn the game volume down a bit because I realise that you probably can't hear me terribly well because it's quite noisy. Oh, I'm already speeding. Good start. It's an average speed limit. It's fine. We're currently doing 17 miles per hour, and we're just coming up to a 25 mile an hour speed limit. And we're about to cross over onto line C to leave the station. Now we've got a couple of stops on this trip. We're going to be calling it Watford Junction, Milton Keynes Central, and then we would be calling it Northampton, but that's not modelled on this route, so we're going to head straight to Rugby. Let's close the drain cocks, because I don't think we need them anymore. Frame rate's a bit rubbish down this end of the line, but it gets better as we leave. So, on we go then. On to line C. Well, the speed limit for that is 40 miles an hour, so let's open her up a little. It is very, very satisfying using this console, yes. I like it very much indeed. Okay, so just coming up to a tunnel, so blow the whistle. That wasn't very loud, hold on. That's better. Right. Shut the regulator, ease back the reverser a little, and then open up again. There we go. Yes, the area in the East Midlands. Or the West Midlands, technically. Okay, so the speed limit drops down to 40 in a minute, so we're going to get up to 40 and stay there. Let's open this baby up. 100% regulator and snapshot again, because we're going to need that in a second. Let's just throw the loco brake on, just brake a little. There we go. No need throwing the whole train brake on. That's just going to make life difficult. There we go. That whistle at the start on my daily dose of coal. Nice. Love it. Oh, my dread! Nearly got taken off by a signal there. Never mind. So we're just coming past, excuse me while I turn the loco brake on, we're just coming past Camden. There was a loco depot at Camden once upon a time over in that direction. There's you can still see the Camden Roundhouse there where they would have stored the locos. I believe it's now an arts centre. Anyway, right. And we're moving up to 75 miles an hour, so let's open her up. Yes, so the content is backwards compatible on Train Simulator, can confirm. Just turning the volume down in my ear slightly because I can't hear myself think. This comes with the Steam Sound Supreme Coronation sound pack, so it does sound a lot better than the default, which is available on Steam. And this is a reskin done by, I can't quite remember, but it's a reskin I downloaded from somewhere. Yeah. So there we are, out of the tunnel. I forgot to blow the whistle, so I'll do it now. Just for the hell of it. If you can't hear yourself, think louder. Yeah, I like that. Even rail works. If you buy, because if you bought it on Steam, it gets upgraded every year for free. You just don't get the new content, but the game engine and all of the bug fixes and everything you do get. So it's yeah. Works out like that. So anyway, now this says I'm doing 94 miles an hour. It's completely wrong. We're doing 59 at the moment. Let's knock the regulator back a bit because I don't think that's helping our acceleration even slightly. But we do want to get up to line speed, which is 75 miles an hour, so that's what we're aiming for. When you stop at the next station, could you look at the DMs? I've got a surprise for you. Yes, we can do that. Yeah, this is connected to the computer via USB cable. It does come with its own software called, which works through MacroWorks. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I clicked out for no apparent reason there. But it's connected via a third-party, I think it's called Rail Driver and Joystick Control or something along those lines, and that makes it work with Train Simulator 2022. So yeah, it's a bit of a budget job, but it does work. So we are really shifting now. Another neat thing about the Rail Driver console, by the way, is if you plug an audio cable into it and stick a electrical adapter in the back, it has a bass speaker in it. So as you're driving along, the console vibrates along with what the sound you're hearing is. It is the most surreal thing ever. There we go, into the tunnel. It's Kensal Green Tunnel there. And we're just coming out to West London Junction. And I've just realised we're now going over 75, so I'm just going to pop a little bit of loco brake on and just ease off and let her roll. Because she's quite happy doing that. Quite happy indeed. You're just going to freeze for a minute because I have just realised that I've not got the chat window up, which I've now got. Yes, this is not cheap. I got mine off eBay. I think I paid about £150 for it. Or something of the sort. But they are not cheap, no. Expensive bit of kit. But I've always wanted one, and it came up on eBay, so I thought, what the hell? I've earned this, damn it. It is a game changer for like train simulation games, though. It works with open rails automatically. You just plug it in; it's built in. It just does it. Don't need any third-party software. I believe it works with trains as well, but can't confirm that. Anyway, so we've just gone past West London Junction. Over to the side here. That's the just coming off up there. That's the DC lines that go off to Watford Junction and form part of the Bakerloo line. We are just coming up to Willston Goods Yard, which is a massive freight yard up on the right here. You've got the Royal Mail Yard there as well. You can see the arch over there for Wembley Stadium. And this would normally be filled with freight trains and all sorts, but it's not, because this is a quick drive scenario, so we're not going to worry about any of that. But yeah, normally this would be filled with freight trains, and I think Avanti has their depot here as well. So that's where, that's what would have been Virgin Trains once upon a time. I know this line quite well. I had to for my job. Here we go. So we are just going over the the North Circular, Road there. Yeah, that's just a thing. Now, in reality, over here somewhere there is a tiny little signal box that controls movements in and out of the freight depot. I don't think it's been modelled on this. I think it's missing, and I find that terribly upsetting. Yeah, it's about where I'm looking now. It's about there-ish, but they haven't modelled it, which I am very upset about. Please feel free to throw any railway-related questions at me down, by the way, because I'm happy to answer what I can. You can just see there the DC lines diving under the railway. I've just realised we're breaking the speed limit, so throw the loco brake on again, just to drop the speed a little. And we're just coming through Wembley Central. There we are, that's better. Oh! I think I just broke the barrier there. I don't think that's meant to be a thing. Never mind. There we are, so we're up to 73. Now, technically, we could go faster, but if you go into the cab here... Oh, sorry, just knocked the throttle back. If we go into the cab here and look up, Network Rail has restricted this to 75 miles per hour. Or if you're going 10 to first, 35 miles an hour. So we literally cannot go faster than 75. At some point, we will definitely go faster than 75. That is a thing. The loco brake, right? Okay, so you've got the locomotive brake, which just controls the brakes on the locomotive. It's like a hand brake, effectively, and then you've got the train brake, which is this lever here, which, if you operate it, controls it's an air brake system on this loco. Which brings on the brakes on all of the rolling stock. So that's the difference. Just coming through Northwick Park, I believe, and over there, not modelled, is Harrow on the Hill. The Hill's modelled, Harrow on the Hill is not, and Northwick Park Hospital. And then I believe what we're going under here is the Metropolitan line. Oh, we've lost our speed. Let's open her up again. Because why the hell not? So I'm just going to have a sip of water. Okay, that's 75. Snap the regulator shut. So we don't need that. We don't need that anymore. I'm just going to tap it open a little bit, just to... No, not that much. About there-ish. Not quite. Hang on. Yeah, we're just going to leave it idling for the moment. So, that seems to be the sensible thing to do. Now, we're just coming up to Harrow and Wieldstone Station. You may know of this if you're a railway enthusiast in this country, because this is was the location of the Harrow and Wieldstone disaster. A train ploughed into the back of another train heading southbound on the up line because the driver went through a red signal. And then an express train coming the other way ploughed into the wreckage, and lots of people died. It was not. It was one of the reasons we have AWS on all of our trains now, because before the Harrow and Wieldstone disaster, AWS existed as a technology, but British Railways were really just a bit ambivalent about it. They saw it as a waste of time. And then, as a result of the Harrow and Wieldstone disaster, they then rushed through its implementation. So it's now a legal requirement. That's an overground train. Just going off on its merry way there towards Harrow. Now, this is... What's this station called? I've forgotten. I can't see. We'll never know. I don't know. No, hang on. I'm just going to check the map, see what that is. Hold on. Centre on player. And if we scroll back, Headstone Lane. That's it. There we are. Now, in a few moments, we're going to round the corner towards Bushy, and at that point we need to start slowing down, because we're going to be calling at Watford Junction. So we'll start thinking about putting the brakes on. What does AWS stand for? Good question. I'm just going to look that up. Automatic warning system. I thought that was the case, but I wasn't sure. So it was introduced in the 1950s in the UK to provide a train driver with an audible warning and visual reminder that they were approaching a distant signal at caution. Operation was later extended to give warnings for a colour light signal displaying a double yellow, single yellow or red aspect, a reduction in permissible speed, a temporary or emergency speed restriction, an automatic barrier crossing locally monitored, an automatic open crossing locally monitored, or an open crossing. It was based on a 1930 system developed by Alfred Ernest Hudd and marketed as the Staugger Hudd system. An earlier contact system installed on the Great Western Railway since 1906, known as automatic train control, was gradually supplanted by AWS within the Western region of British Railways. And the principle of the AWS system is basically if you're coming up to a signal that is a yellow, double yellow or a red, it will make a noise. It will start buzzing at you. When it buzzes at you, you have to press that button there. It's a big yellow button normally on things. In fact, we've probably got one in the cab. Right, that bell you just heard, that's the AWS system. I believe that button there is how you acknowledge it. So as we go over the AWS equipment and the signal is clear, you just get a little bell. You don't have to do anything with that. That's just telling you the line's clear ahead. If it starts buzzing, you press the AWS button. Oops, just opened the drain cocks. Didn't mean to do that. And I'm doing 80 miles an hour. I am terrible at this. When you're coming up to a signal at yellow, double yellow or red, it will start buzzing and you have to press that. Otherwise the brakes will come on. And bring you to a stop. You don't want that to happen. I've just taken the head off on the signal, so that was clever. Right, so coming up to Watford Junction. This is Watford. There's a big shopping centre over there, and that, when I was a guard, was my indicator that I needed to start making the announcements for Watford Junction. And my announcements would go along the lines of something like this. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now approaching Watford Junction. Change here for trains towards St Albans Abbey, departing from platform number 11. And London Overground services departing from platforms 1 to 4. Change here for the Harry Potter studio tour. Buses depart for the studio tour from the front of the station at bus stop number 4. Please note, Watford Junction is the final station where you can use a TfL validated Oyster card or debit card payment. If you're travelling beyond Watford Junction, you must be in possession of a valid ticket to travel. Thank you for travelling with Mattaf Productions trains. This is Watford Junction. I was good at my job, damn it. Okay, so we're just coming into Watford Junction now. I'm just keeping the brake on while we slow, because we want to slow to about probably 35 miles an hour, give or take, and then let it coast. There we go. And then I'll start applying the brake again as we hit the platform. And that's the nice thing about the rail driver console. You've got a bit more fine control over your brakes. So I'm going to go all the way to the end of the platform. And brake on. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, and stop. I think that is the best stop at a station I have ever done. I'm just going to check the backs in. Yes, it is. It turns out I am a genius at trains. Oh. Fantastic. Right, so we're going to sit here for a minute. And while we're doing that, we're going to have a little look in the DMs and see what it is that Devran has sent us. So bear with me while I do that. One moment. Are we enjoying this so far? I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I slipped up because I haven't done that announcement for nearly 2 years now. But, you know, point of contention. But never mind. Anyway, let's see here. Devran has sent us something. Glennock Creations. The Isle of Soda and Scotch racetrack routes. Yes, I've seen these. I fully intend to download and install these at some point because bloody love it. Yeah, that looks really cool. Awesome. Thank you for that. I will keep that in mind for future reference. But now let's jump back into the game. Because any moment now the doors should shut and we should be able to move again. There we go. Right. So doors are shut. I'm going to put the reverser all the way forward. Drop the cylinder cocks open again. And wait for the guard's whistle. Any second now. Any moment now. Any moment. There we go. Right. And open the throttle, and away we go. Watch down the train, make sure no doors come flying open. Very important. Close the drain cocks. There we go. And we're on our way. Let's open up this baby. I also have a DM from Five Nights at Freddy's Vision. Well, that might have to wait until we get to Milton Keynes. Here we go. Snap the regulator shut. Bring back the reverser and open her up again. So we've now left Watford Junction. We're coming up to the Watford Tunnels. This is the original route that goes straight through, and then the newer tunnel is the one that kind of dives off around here and goes through here. This is the slow line we're on. There we go. And we're coming up to the tunnel, so lean on the whistle. And there we go, in the tunnel. This is fun! Right. Now, there's a bit of a dodgy turn here, so we're just going to keep it at 70 for now. But then once we get through the tunnel and out the other side, around King's Langley, I'm going to be a little bit naughty. Oh, actually, no, King's Langley does a 75 mile an hour speed restriction. But once we've been through King's Langley and Apsley, we're going to take this baby up to line speed. Because I can. Does the train have any lights? Yes, you can. In fact, if I go over here and turn off the driver's lights, you'll notice it goes a little bit darker over here because that's lighting up all the controls for tunnels. Well worth doing. Okay, a little bit more speed now. In fact, if we can, at some point, if the speed restrictions will allow us, I'd like to try and get up to 100, just to see if we can. I know it's not strictly legal, but this is a simulator, it's not going to hurt anybody. Okay, so we're 75 miles an hour through King's Langley, and then we're going to open her up and try and get her up to 100. They could do 100, and frequently did, but it's not recommended. So, okay. So, going through King's Langley, and we're now entering the 100 mile an hour speed limit, so let's open her up and see what she can do. $70 miles an hour. We may have to cap it at 90 based on what the speed through Apsley is. Yes, I used to have Microsoft Flight Simulator as well. Terrific game. I want to buy the new one, but I don't think my computer can run it. Let's ease the reverser back a little. Just help our speed climb. Just muddle with the regulator for a bit, just because we want to keep this run of speed we've got going. And actually opening the regulator all the way isn't necessarily the best way to build speed. It's not efficient. So we're currently 79. I saw we got to 80 earlier without trying, so let's get her up to 90, and then if we can, we'll go for 100. Because I figure as long as we don't exceed the speed limit, we're within the boundaries of the simulator rules, not necessarily the real world rules. 85 miles an hour. Oh, I can't remember what graphics card I've got. That's going... Yeah, that's... Yeah, can't remember. There we go, we just hit 88 miles an hour, so we've now gone back in time. Come on, 90. 90 miles an hour. Now, let's get her up to 100. Come on, you can do this. Okay. Something's not happy with me. That was the AWS. Now, what are you complaining about? It's routing me onto the fast line, I think. Is it? No. No, it isn't. No. It's okay. I panicked. There's nothing to panic about. It's all good. AWS is just checking I'm awake, apparently. Okay. Build our speed back up. Now we're just about to fly over Bourne End Junction, which is one of several junctions on the West Coast Main Line where you can cross from the fast to the slow lines or vice versa. $90 miles an hour. Come on. 100. That's going to be easy. Easy peasy. We're climbing and still accelerating. What a machine this is. Pendolino there, heading for Wieldstone. Ah, the speed limit's 85 in a mile. Come on. I don't think we're going to do it in time. Right. Let's drop back down to 85. When it goes back up to 100, we'll try and get to 100 again. It's doable. I know it's doable. Right. I mean, we're already going way faster than we would legally be allowed to in real life. So, you know, I'll take that as a win. But if I can break 100 before we reach Milton Keynes, I'll consider that a win. I will be very pleased if we can do that. Oh, there's 85. We're now officially speeding. We are just coming through Berkhamsted Station. I don't know much about Berkhamsted, I've got to be honest. But it's a very pretty station. Old school. I like it. There we are. Through Berkhamsted. And then going through... what is the name of that tunnel? I can't remember. I want to say North Church Tunnel. Could be wrong. But yeah. We go through this tunnel and then it goes back up to 90 miles an hour. So we'll try and do 90. Because then we routed through Tring. If we never make it to Milton Keynes, I'd consider that a win. That's where I live! Don't be that guy! Okay, coming out of the tunnel, and that's where the 90 mile an hour speed restriction starts. So we'll open the regulator up again. There we go. If I hold her at 90, when it does head back to 100 miles an hour, because I'm sure the speed limit does get lifted to 100 again before Milton Keynes, and then we'll try and break that speed limit. Right, so we're doing 90. It's just 10 miles an hour more. We can do this. There's routes from all over the world available for Train Simulator. Personally, I tend to stick to UK stuff because that's where my line knowledge is, and that's the thing that's going to hold you back. It's you need to know sort of what the route is like. You can just use the guide at the bottom here, which will tell you all the information you need to know. But I like to know a little bit about the railway I'm driving on, so I know where my danger points are. Okay, so it goes to 100 miles an hour through Tring Cutting. That's good. So if we're going to break the 100-mile-an-hour mark, it will be then. Now, given the speed limit's 100, I'm going to be really naughty and just see how fast I can actually go. I believe the Mallard speed record is 125, isn't it? So let's call that a benchmark and see how fast we go. If someone wants to look that up and just confirm it, that'd be brilliant. Right, 100 miles an hour. Here we go. I don't do this for a job. No, I'm a timetable assistant for Network Rail at the moment. I was a train guard, but not anymore, alas. So, here we go. We're downhill. We are easily going to break 100. So let's see how fast we can go. These were very powerful machines, the Coronation class. So powerful. 100, nothing. Let's see how fast we can go. Come on, bit more power. 98. No. Bring it back. There we go. That's it. Come on. So, open the throttle all the way. 98.6. Oh, come on. You're going downhill. You've got full regulator. You can do this. I believe in you. 99 miles an hour. Would I want to be a train driver? I'd like to have been a driver when it was steam locomotives all the way through. Not so much now. It's a very boring, very lonely job. I'm not afraid of the hard work aspect. I'll say that now. I'm not afraid of that at all. In fact, that would have been good because I wouldn't have developed this belly. But no, I wouldn't want to be now. It's dull and lonely. 99.9. Come on. A little more. 100 miles an hour. Victory bell. Told you we could do it. Right. Come on. Can we make this any faster? Ease that off slightly. No. It's oh, that's the AWS. Got a double yellow. That shouldn't be happening. There shouldn't be anything in the way. So what's the crack? What's going on there? Right, we're going to start braking now. Because if we've got a double yellow, that means there's a yellow up ahead. What is it unhappy about? I think it's trying to route me onto the up fast. Yeah, I know. Now, why on earth are you trying to do that? Because that's not where I want to be. I mean, it's a hard job in terms of you have to be on the ball 100% of the time, but it just doesn't appeal to me. Yeah, I think they're trying to route us onto the up fast. Which seems a little bit annoying. Okay, let's have a little scooch up here and see what's going on, because I think what's happening is it's trying to route us onto the up fast, which is a thing called going bang road. Now I had this problem when I was setting up the quick drive. It really didn't like me doing that at all. So I'm wondering. Yeah, I think that's what it's trying to do. It's trying to route me over this way. Oh, well, that's not fun. That's not fun at all. Because it looks like there's a service train up here somewhere that's been stopped because I'm about to go into it. Yeah, that's exactly what's happened. Oh, bother. Well, that's annoying. Now, just trying to think here. Is there any way of looking... I may need to... Okay. Let's save this. I'm going to skip you guys over to the be right back screen. See what I can do to fix this. Bear with. We're back! There we go. I fixed it. I had to go into the editor and create a new quick drive location starting from where I was last time. And I've added in the via points properly this time. So it should take us where we want to go. So now we've got the signal. We can get on. Here we go. I realise that's cheating because we now just refreshed our water and coal and everything, but sod it, that's the game's fault, not mine. But never mind, we broke 100 miles an hour, so I'm happy with that. My T's faulty. It's broken. Never mind. Here we go. Lovely sound. Right. Shut the throttle. Ease the reverser back. Open the throttle again. Oh, the regulator, sorry, not the throttle. So our next stop is Milton Keynes Central, which is a little way away. So we shall persevere. Because that's set us back a little bit, but not to worry. Now what I'd like to do ideally is get all the way to Rugby and then, if we have time, switch over to the West Coast Main Line Trent Valley route and go from Rugby towards Stafford and see how far we can get. But let's see how far we can get as things stand, because things haven't been going terribly well thus far, have they? So let's just see what happens. Crank the regulator all the way open and see if we can gain some speed. It's like, no, it doesn't like having that all the way forward. About 50%. There we are. Oh, no, I've just changed the driving mode. Ignore that. Oh dear. That's better. We're on the right track now. So we've just gone past Watford Junction, and just prior to that, when we started panicking about the AWS, we'd just been through Cheddington, which is a tiny little station in the middle of nowhere that only exists, as far as I can tell, because over in that direction there's a big old manor house, and the railway is built through the land owned by the person who lives in that house, or lived in that house in the 1850s. Because when the railway company came and asked if they could put the railway through their land, they said yes, provided you build a station nearby to my house and you have an hourly train service called there. Sorry, a half-hourly train service there in either direction. And the railway company said yes. And technically, because that is enshrined in the Act of Parliament, they have to do that. The railway has to provide that service now. Otherwise, legally, they have to dig up the whole railway and move it over to another location. It's a bit daft. But there it is. Who's still with us? Throw some questions at me. I'm having a lovely time. You can ask me literally anything. I'll answer any questions today. I'm in a good mood. I'm enjoying myself. Knock the reverser back ever so slightly. And so let's see if we about 45 and then open the regulator a smidge more. It seems to be harder to get acceleration off it this time around, but we'll persevere. What's it like using the controls? It's actually quite nice. You've got a lot more control over it using something like this than you do using the mouse and keyboard, because it's basically all or nothing. What is 7 times 9? 42. There we go. Is Train Simulator any better than the 2016 version? It doesn't seem any more stable than the 2016 version, to be honest. But if you own the 2016 version on Steam, you've got this anyway. So, you know, that's all it is really. The only difference is you get some stability fixes. Okay. But yeah, driving it with the Rail Driver console's really nice, actually, because you can just make little adjustments to your controls, and it's very intuitive. That's why I'm not getting any acceleration. I've left the loco brake on. That was smart, right? No wonder we weren't getting anywhere. Will I be doing a video on the things you sent me, Devran? Potentially yes, because as a recovering Thomas fan, I think that would appeal to my sense of quirkiness. Do I like jazz? I don't not like jazz. It's not my first choice of music, put it that way. That's better. Right. Right, we're going to stop mucking about with speed now. We're going to stick to the speed limits that have been prescribed by Network Rail. What do I mean recovering? I mean, have you seen what they've done to our boy? Enough said. If that train was green, would it be better in your opinion? No! Okay, controversial opinion here. Brunswick green is a beautiful colour, but it's overused in preservation. Because that was the colour a lot of the locos would have been in, either BR black or BR Brunswick green. I like locos with unusual colours. And LMS Crimson looks bloody fantastic. So, no, I do not think this loco would be better in green. It's the simple answer. The recent cartoon and anything that's been done since they moved away from the models, really. And possibly before then. I mean, the movie was just... what is this? Yeah. So yeah, recovering Thomas fan. I will still read all the books to my kids one day and subject them to all of that good stuff. I'm going to do something a bit different now. I've just realised I haven't got any lights on. That was a fail. Never mind. There we are. We have lights now. That's a yellow form. Right. Now, how far ahead of the... Oh, so much for sticking to the speed limit. We're doing 93. God's sake. Hold on. I'm gonna whiz ahead a bit here. Okay, not that far, clearly, because I can't get that far ahead. Do you know what? We'll wait on the bridge here for Miss N to catch up, and just try and get it back to 75, because we're going a teeny bit quick. Yeah, the Magic Railroad was just no, nothing about that film was good. It was just just no. Definitely no. Good luck with your exams tomorrow, Doctorus. That is yeah. It's I'm sure you'll smash it. I have no concerns whatsoever. I'm sure you will do fine. Right, we're now probably sufficiently closer that I can now whiz further up here. So we are coming up now to Bletchley. So a few things about Bletchley. One, that's meant to be a flyover, which hasn't loaded in. There we go. This all looks different now because they've taken all this out and put a new one in. It doesn't look anywhere near as good. Down that way through the trees and into the not modelled bit, Round there somewhere is my house. And the other day, when I came down to try and see Duchess for real, I was parked about... hang on. There-ish. So... am I still behind the yellow line? Yes, good. So, this is what I was hoping to see the other day. Hence why I said earlier, if you want something doing, do it yourself. So, open the regulator up, just so we got a nice bit of acceleration as we're coming through the station. And this is what I had hoped to see the other day. You see how much better that is? If you want to see what I actually saw, that's on my Twitter account, @TeaTimeWithMatt. Okay, so... right, back in the driving seat. We're now speeding again, so let's not do that, because we'll get in trouble. Right. And we're coming up to Milton Keynes Central, which is our next stop. Drop a water balloon off the bridge down the chimney. Oh, that's a pendolino. It's a bit quick. Right. Now, shortly, we're going to go over the crossover at Denby North Junction, I believe it's called. Because we're actually going into Platform 2 at Milton Keynes Central. In fact, yeah, I think looking at the signal there, that is a double yellow. Now, I don't know if that is because there's going to be a crossover shortly, or if it's just routed me in the wrong direction again. I suspect the latter, but we may have to cheat slightly. But we'll carry on, and hopefully that won't be the case. Maybe they haven't modelled the flashing. It would be nice if that was the case. This is Denby North Junction. We're coming over now, so we're just going to apply some brakes, because the speed limit going over the crossover is 40 miles an hour. So we need to be going slow. Do you get a ticket for speeding? How do you get in trouble? Basically, all of the loco movements are monitored from a signalling centre. So if you're speeding as a driver, you will be hauled off the train and suspended pending an investigation. If it's sufficiently serious, you might lose your job. And that's all I can tell you about that. AWS. Now, yeah, it's kicking off because I'm about to go over a crossover. That's why it's getting in a tizzy. So, coming into Milton Keynes Central now. Over that way, through the trees there, there's a series of lakes called the Teardrops, and my parents' house is over there somewhere. Hi, Mum and Dad! There we go. And very gently. Yes, that bad. Because if you're speeding, bearing in mind you could have anything like... you could have sometimes up to 1,000 people on your train that you are responsible for. It's not like doing 31 in a 30. It's... you know, it's... yeah. You could kill people. Okay. So, coming into Milton Keynes Central. So, about now I will be announcing, ladies and gentlemen, now approaching Milton Keynes Central. Please ensure you take all personal belongings with you when you leave the train. Change here for Avanti West Coast services. If you see something that doesn't look right, please speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016 and we'll sort it. See it, say it, sorted. This is Milton Keynes Central. Oh, I've paused that. Hold on. Brake, brake, brake. Yeah, I put the emergency brake on then because I was about to overshoot. That's not great. You don't want to do that. That's not clever. There we are. Right. Step off and let's have a little admiring glance at our train. Doesn't that look gorgeous? I'm a very happy bunny. I've just realised I haven't opened the doors. Let's do that. There we go. So this is Milton Keynes Central. That's all the good bits about it. No, kidding. Actually, if we whiz up here briefly, that big building there, not very accurately modelled, but anyway, we'll roll with it. That is called the Quadrant. That is Network Rail's big office in Milton Keynes. And I work in this bit, in this corner. That's where I work now. Which is pretty cool. Yeah, so that's where I go to work every weekday. It's exciting. I'm off on site visits tomorrow. I'm going down to Marylebone to see the station, pop into the signal box there. It's going to be great. I'm excited. A little bit of geeking out. There we go. And in a bit. I'm literally just taking screenshots at this point. I hope no one minds. Right, looks like the doors are closed, so we should be getting the whistle from the guard. Oh, no, there we go. He's on the ball now. Right, so we'll let the brake off. Back in the cab. And then over to this side so we can watch the train out. Blow the whistle. Open the drain cocks, and away we go. I don't think the platform and the coaches are compatible on this route. It's not what it's like in real life. It actually works in real life. Do I take the train to work? Some days. I alternate between driving and taking the train. It depends what I've got going on. Like today I drove because I had to whiz back for this. So, yeah. I'm glad the stream helped you unwind, Doctorus. That is lovely to hear. And very best of luck with your exams tomorrow. I'm sure you don't need it, but good luck anyway. So I think, based on our current performance, we're only going to make it as far as rugby, which is fine. So we will go as far as rugby. Are there people on my train? No, apparently. Oh well, never mind. Anyway, open up the regulator, and let's get this baby up to 75 again. Now, because the Northampton branch is not modelled on this route, we're going to be doing something that they don't normally let chartered trains do, and we're going via the Wieldstone line. Now, north of Milton Keynes, in a place called Road Cutting, the line splits. One line goes off to the right-hand side if you're going northbound on the down line. You go up to London and down away from London. It's a bit confusing, but yeah. Anyway, so the slow lines go off to the right if you're heading on the northbound on the down line, and then the fast lines, the Wieldstone lines, go off to the left. We're going to be going left. So now we are just coming up to, in a few moments, Wolverton. Wolverton is where my ancestors worked. Oh, well, technically, my ancestors were actually in Hanslope. If they've bothered to model it, we'll see Hanslope Church at some point. That's where they all lived. But as the Industrial Revolution kicked off and Wolverton Railway Works was opened, they went and worked there, and they built carriages and wagons and steam engines. So yeah, my ancestors were railway men and women. Well, railway men, I suppose. There weren't as many equal opportunities back then. Sorry, women of the Alden-Farrow family. Although, of course, they weren't the Alden-Farrows back then. That there is the works. Round back, over in that direction, the direction I'm looking, is where the Royal Train is kept when it's not being used. So we're just going through Wolverton Station now. It's been modernised. It's not as pretty anymore, but this is it, Wolverton. Okay. And then over to the left there, that's a big old housing estate they've built on what used to be the works. Because the works have shrunk over the years. It's still used. Presumably I did have women ancestors, yes. But probably not many that worked in the works. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked into it that closely. One would imagine it was a very male-dominated field. Now, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Now, what we've done there is we've just gone over the viaduct at Wolverton. Now, I've not done a very good job of modelling this, but all of this is a big old nature reserve now. And just up there somewhere, that's where my sister goes to walk her dog. Sometimes. So that's quite cool. Should I be giving away this much personal information online? Probably not. Never mind. Is there a speed limit when going through a station you're not stopping at? Yes, it will be listed under the line speed. So there, I think it was 70 miles an hour. And then the line speed climbed back up to 90. Let's ease the reverser back a bit, try and get some speed up. Just up to 75, that's all I want. There we go, lovely. 75 miles an hour. There we go, that's the AWS, and that's telling us that we're going to be going over onto the fast lines in a moment. I believe this is Road Station we're going through now, which was closed a very long time ago, hence why it's all overgrown. Let's just take a moment to appreciate our machine here. Because that is just glorious, isn't it? There we go, another yellow light, which presumably means we're going to be put over onto the fast line in a moment. I mean, I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. Possibly not. Hang on. No, it's a red light. Emergency! Emergency! There's an emergency going on! It's still going on, and it's an emergency! My hubris got me again! Oh no, I can pass that at danger. Apparently. Well, I'm going to stop anyway, because I don't have a choice. Oops. Well, that was a bit frightening, just for a moment. Right. So, I'll tell you what, I'll bring us to a stop at the signal, and then we'll have a look at the map and see what's going on. Because I'm not sure what exactly has happened there. Because it says I can pass it at danger, so presumably I've got a road set for me. But we'll have a little look. Just ease ourselves up with the signal. And no, not quite stop. In a moment. there. Stop there. That'll do. Right. So, let's see. What's gone on there? It may actually just be moaning because it's... Okay, yeah, I see what it's trying to do there. It's trying to send me Bang Road again. It's trying to send me via the down line. Sorry, via the up line, rather than the down line. It's a bit of a pain in the backside, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, it's gonna let us do it. Yeah, okay. It goes against every every ounce of logic, but sod it. We're doing this. All or nothing, boys and girls. If we meet a pendolino coming the other way, I apologise. I should say, in reality, you'd be contacting the signaller about now and going, why am I being held at a red signal? I'm not entirely clear why I'm being held at a red signal. It's going to complain. Now, that is what's supposed to happen if you go past the signal at danger. The AWS is meant to come on. So that is the system working as it should. So, here we go. Now, normally, if you sat at a red signal, and you've been sat there for a while, you'll contact the signal and ask, why am I being sat at a red signal? Now, for the purposes of what we're doing here, let's assume the signaller has said there is a fault with the signal, so I am giving you permission to pass it at danger, and you would do so in a cautious way, because he's basically giving you verbal authority to pass the signal at danger, and you have to come to a clear understanding as to what's to happen there. So normally these movements will be made very slowly. You will do them at a cautious pace, just in case, because if a signal's failed, there's normally a reason for it. It could be the signal itself has failed, could be a problem with the points up ahead, you don't know. So normally the signaller won't let you pass the signal unless he or she is sure that the line ahead is clear and there's no obstructions and there's nothing that's going to cause your train to get into difficulty. So what we're doing now, completely wrong. Normally it would be a phone call to the signaller to go, why is my route not set correctly? Can't do that because it's a quick drive scenario. I'm not going and mucking around with the quick drive files again. So I guess we're doing this Bang Road. Now, again, this goes against everything I know about the railway rulebook. You should not do this. You should never do this, except in exceptional circumstances. Like if you've drawn up at a red signal and there's something derailed or broken down ahead of you, you might arrange with the signaller to travel Bang Road, or the wrong direction along a running line. That will take you as far as the next junction, where he'll put you back on the correct line. And that is only something that will be done in really exceptional circumstances. So what we're doing now, completely against everything I've been taught to do. But never mind, we will make it work. Now, how far are you going to take us? I think... yeah, from the looks of it... yeah, maybe there will be a crossover at some point that we can go over. I'm not sure. Now, the problem is, what I'm doing at the moment, if you look at the bottom of the screen there, where the little indicator is, normally that would be lined with signals all the way along. It's not lined with signals, and there's a very good reason for that. The running line I'm on is the up fast. You're not supposed to go in the down direction on the up fast. So there's no signals controlling my movement. I am going the wrong way. This is like driving on the right-hand side of the road in the UK, where we drive on the left-hand side. I'm doing this completely wrong. Now, there will be times where you've got a single line where this is perfectly fine. If you've got some small branch lines or a lot of preserved lines now, just have a single track, and that is controlled through single line working or staff and ticket working. So you will have trains going in each direction, but there will be signals protecting the passing loops and things. So you can't send a train down one line going in one direction and another train down the same line where they would meet and have a collision. The signalling system will not let you do that. So on a single track, what I'm doing perfectly fine. There'll be signals to protect me. On a line like this, where it's a big 4-track main line, and there are defined lines, so there are the up lines and the down lines. So the up lines are going into London, the down lines are going out of London. They only have signals in the direction you're meant to travel along the line. So on the up line, you will have signals going towards London. On the down lines, you will have signals as if you were coming out of London, because that's the manner in which the trains move. Where I am now, there's no signals, because the signalling system is expecting me to be on the track on my left there, going northbound. And this line is reserved for trains that are going southbound. You just saw, actually, if you look above us in a moment, there'll probably be another one in a sec. There is a signal, but its aspect is facing away from me. I am not supposed to be able to do this. It is really dangerous. This is not something that should ever happen. I feel like I'm laying this on quite thick, but given what I do for a job, I feel it's important to tell people why. It's important to tell people why this is a bad thing to do. Now, you saw there was a signal there. There wasn't one on for our line, because again... Right, that signal there is for this section of track. As we go past it, that will turn green. In theory. Yep, there we go. So that is telling me that if I'm going in the right direction, or the correct direction, the line ahead is now clear for me. But I'm really confusing the signalling system right now. Is that why there's no lines running east to west? Because they can work out. No, generally the up direction is towards London and the down direction is away from London. On lines further afield, it will tend to be the up direction is towards a big city, a down direction is away from it. Trying to think of a good example here. An east to west line would be sort of based on... Well, I mean, if you take the Nene Valley Railway, for instance, the up direction is westbound, so from Peterborough to Wansford, because the line would have hooked in at the other end and taken you off towards London. That is the up direction. Whereas you're going the other way, that's the down direction, because it's going technically away from London. Yeah, it's complicated, and that isn't always the case. It will vary from different parts of the network. Now, we've completely missed it, but actually, if I whiz back this way, because sod it, if I'm going to hit something, I'm going to hit something. What we've just been through is road cutting, and there's this structure here called the birdcage for reasons that should be obvious. But that line disappears off that way and goes to Northampton, except here it doesn't, it just sort of stops. But up that way is the Northampton line. I am really, really hoping that at some point there's going to be a nice crossover that we can go over at. But it doesn't look like my prayers are going to be answered there. I am just going to be flung all the way to Rugby on the wrong side of the railway. Sure, why not? We've got this far. Do lines then turn from down to up in the middle as you move away? Generally not, no. If you think about the West Coast Main Line, the up lines will always be heading towards London because that is effectively the end of the railway. Now, if you had a railway going from, say, pulling an example out of my head here, trying to think of a big terminating station. Edinburgh to Glasgow, for example. Now, if they didn't link into the West Coast Main Line, the up and down would be different because they would be talking about where the train terminates. So the up line might be different. Generally, as a rule, it's up towards London, down away from London, but that varies on different bits of the network. Based on when the line was built. So like the Liverpool to Manchester line, for example, would have treated the bigger city as its up direction. I don't quite know which of those was the bigger city at the time. Presumably, I would say it was Liverpool, because Liverpool big port city. So Liverpool, in this example, would be the up direction, because it's the bigger city. I don't know this for a fact, I am making this up as I go along, but that is generally how you would define it. But like, as you're coming towards Birmingham on the West Coast Main Line, it doesn't switch from down to up, it just stays as the up and down, because the whole network links into the line that goes to London, so, yeah, it's, anyway. This feels so wrong. Everything about this is wrong, but it's letting me do it, so I'm not going to complain. It's we are 17 miles from Rugby, by the way, so I think when we get there we're going to wrap this up. Do I like modern trains? No, not particularly, to be honest with you. I can admire the engineering of a modern train, like the Pendolino. Fantastic bit of engineering, remarkably so. I don't have any enthusiasm for it though. My enthusiasm is mainly with the steam engines because they're basically like a living thing. You've got to manage them, you've got to look after them. They're delicate little flowers. Some of the ones I've been on the footplate of have been extremely delicate little flowers. But yeah, I will check your DMs at the end of the stream. Five Nights at Freddy's Vision. 16 miles to go. Really, really paranoid that there's going to be a high-speed train coming the other way. See, this is the problem. The simulator doesn't seem to be able to cope with the fact that there's so many junctions, so when you set up a quick drive route, it just takes you the fastest possible route. And yeah, it just doesn't seem to want to cope with that at all. But in theory, this would never happen in real life because the signalling system knows what way trains have to go. The simulator, if I was building it from the ground up, I would build in some code which allows you to define the direction of operation of a particular set of track. I don't know if that's a thing you can do with Train Simulator. I suspect not, because if it was, this wouldn't be happening. But that is something that would be good. So, yeah. Yeah, in reality this would never happen, but in practice it's where we're at, so yeah. Now, I believe this we're coming up to here is the longest tunnel. No, not that one. Somewhere along this section is the longest tunnel on the West Coast Main Line. I think it's the Weedon Tunnel. No, Kilsby Tunnel, sorry, Kilsby Tunnel. I'm talking out the backside again. I don't know what I'm talking about. Right, because in theory, what should have happened here is I should have gone on the fast lines, through here, up here, and straight into platform 2. It should have just been quite happy to let me do that, but no, it's going to bitch and moan about it. So we will work with what we've got. Imagine a flying steam train with garlic gums on it. Oh dear. Oh dear. Let's not turn this into a chibnall bashing session, guys. That's not why we're here. Oh. Looking at the map, it does look like I've got a clear road, so I'm not too worried. Anyone got any final questions? Because we're into the last 12 miles, so we'll be wrapping this up fairly soon. I would sit and take photos, but it's on the wrong line, so I don't feel comfortable doing that. But let's just admire the machine. Absolutely gorgeous. I've enjoyed this stream. This was good. If you would like to see more train-related streams, then let me know, and I will do my best to oblige. Someone is currently building the Nene Valley Railway 4 train simulator, the modern one, not Microsoft Train Simulator. It's slow going, so it might be a year or two before it's out. But I'll be keeping an eye on that, and I'll definitely do a stream on that at some point. That's cool. That there is the M1. Quite busy. Big old caravan park there. Big old boat yard there. .78 miles an hour. That is clearly faster than we're legally supposed to be going. So let's. Yeah, I'm just. I'm paranoid because I swear a train is going to come round the corner and it's just going to end in a horrible collision. I'm paranoid now. I mean, I would like to assume the signaller knows what they're doing, but I'm not so sure. I think the simulated signaller hasn't got a clue what he's doing. Oh, now here's something quite neat. There's a little yellow box we've just passed there that we've just flown under. That is called an axle counter. That is one method of how the signalling system works. So, as we pass over the axle counter, it will literally count the number of axles on the train. And then as we go over another one later, it will count the number of axles out again. So then you know, based on that, that the entire train has gone through a section. The other way in which signalling systems work nowadays is track circuit operation. So literally you run a small electrical charge for each rail, and as the train goes over it, it creates a circuit, and that tells the signalling system that there's something in that section. When you leave that section again, the circuit is no longer complete, so it shows the section is clear. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages with each system. The track circuit system, it works perfectly well, but say if you were running a loose-fitted wagon train, and one of the wagons became detached, the track circuit would just show that there was a train still in the section. An axle counter system would not only tell you there was train still in section, but it would be able to tell you, based on the number of axles it counted out of the system, how much of your train is still in the section. So you would be able to look on the signalling system and go, okay, I've lost a wagon. It's the one wagon because I'm 2 axles shy. That's grossly oversimplifying it, but yeah, there's pros and cons to each system. The big con of axle counts is they basically just count metal going past them. They literally count the axles as you go through. And what sometimes happens is if you get someone with steel toe cap boots who walks by an axle counter, the axle counter thinks it's an axle. And it turns everything red because it thinks there's a train in the section. Which confuses everyone greatly. So, yeah, there's advantages and disadvantages to each. But, yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting. So this is Killsby Tunnel, I believe, we're coming up to. This is an extremely long tunnel. So once we come out of here, we will be almost to Rugby, and I think we will be looking to wrap things up. What would happen if you put a Cyberman brain in a Dalek? Does it become a Cyber Dalek? What would it do? Would they be smart enough to use Elevate, or will they fall down the stairs like a dustbin? Great philosophical questions for our time, I think. Oh dear. Yes, I think we're very much coming to the end of this little excursion, so we are about 5 miles away now, so about another 5 minutes we shall be done. Big old tunnel, that. Oh yes, the Tea Time with Matt's Great Railway Journey. Yeah, still one of the funniest things that's ever happened on Tea Time with Matt. Genuinely hilarious. Ah, now that's a double yellow signal. Now that says to me that there's something going on up ahead that the signalling system doesn't like, and I suspect it's the fact that I am on the wrong section of track. I suspect that is the problem. See, what I should have done, folks, is set via point on the junctions, but I didn't because I fail at life. But never mind, we shall soldier on. Now over to the right here is where the Northampton line swoops in and rejoins the Wheaton line, and yeah, joins everything together. Yeah, that's what I should have done. I should have set the junction as a via point. I am a moron. Now, could I have done that further down is the question. If I cycle all the way back down here... Oh, no. Hang on, I've lost my place. What happened? Steady, steady. Anyway, yeah. Remember that for next time. We can do that. Okay, so there is a signal here with a line indicator, and it is apparently sending us... I can't quite see, the display's a bit too far away. Line F, apparently. Okay, so presumably that means there is a crossover coming up any moment. Or is there? I don't know. Hold on. I mean, that's telling me that I'm about to pass that and then run into a red signal, so maybe that's what's going to... It's going to route me over to the correct track. Fail! Right, so the crossover here is 50 miles an hour. So we shall just slow things down a little bit. And then it looks like we will be coming into Rugby the correct way after all. Well, that was a little quirk of Train Simulator. It is not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. It has these little quirks. Although I suspect in this instance one of those quirks was me being inept. So, you know, let's not dwell on it too much. But anyway, we are now just over a mile from Rugby. So, I hope you've all learnt something about trains. I hope it was useful and engaging and interesting. Should get an AWS alert in a second. There we go. Because then it's going to cross us straight back over again. Anyway, I hope that this has been enjoyable for you all. Because literally, as soon as I stop at Rugby, the scenario is going to end. So we'll be cutting back to the studio. But I've enjoyed this one. This has been a neat little thing. If you'd like to see more of that, then yeah, let me know. More train streams. Cool. Okay, we'll do more train streams. That's going to be a thing in the future. So we're just easing our way into Rugby now. And there's a 40-mile-an-hour crossover up ahead, so we will take some care going over that. Because that is what a sensible, responsible train driver does. Here we go. I do like Rugby Station. It's big and complicated, and the architectures are still old school. It's a pretty station. I like it a lot. The simulator doesn't do it justice, but that big building in the middle is part of the original station. There was a big old canopy over every single line at one time, but it was demolished some time ago. So here we go, going over the crossover and into platform 2. So, throw a little bit of brake on. Just gently ease our way into Rugby platform 2. Which I will consider a win, frankly, because yes, we had to go the wrong way for quite a large chunk, but we made it. We didn't have an accident. Yes, I had to disappear and go fiddle with the editor for a bit, but all told, I think that's a pretty good session. So we will definitely return to Train Simulator at some point in the future, because it seems like you all have enjoyed this. There we are, and brakes on again. And there we go. We made it. We're in rugby. Turns out I am a genius at trains. Snap a screenshot. Pleased with that. That was a very, very successful evening. So let's flick back over to the studio camera. And I'd like to say thank you very, very much for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that stream as much as I did. It was a very good one. We'll come back to Train Simulator because I enjoyed that. It was nice being able to show off the Rail Driver console. There was a lot of good stuff there. And it felt good to share some information about a subject that I know quite a lot about and am incredibly passionate about, which is always nice. So, on that note, I'll say thank you very much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll be doing something next Tuesday. We'll probably go back over onto the main channel and make an attempt to finish off this bad boy, which I am so pleased with. The paint's dried now, and I think, yeah, it's a she. She looks bloody marvellous. I'm very happy with that. That is a lovely little model. It's a diesel. I'm not normally a diesel fan, but look at it. It's freaking adorable and it looks great. I'm so pleased with this. So probably next week what we will do is be doing a live from the works, and we'll fit the wheels and the bits and bobs underneath. And then hopefully, if I've done this all properly, we may be able to attempt wiring it all up and running the motor. But we'll see. I've made a start off air. I've assembled the gear for the kind of driving wheel because that took bloody forever and I didn't want to do that. So yes, lots of potential. That's probably what we'll be doing next week. But in the meantime, thanks very much for coming. Take care. And I will see you next time. Bye bye, everybody.